Hello VC, this is the first. It's not an introduction, it's a reaction to the challenge of some gentleman in the VC community who asked for 10 jazz records not from the US. So here I am in the studio, finally triggered enough to record something. Believe me, I've thought many times of doing that on various challenges. Just a quick opening in the background. This record I got this week. I had been after it for quite some time. It's in really good condition. Vincenzo Zitello. On the edge of being new age, but it's quite nice. So here it is, first a record, one of the first jazz records I ever got, but this is a copy I got a little bit later in the early 2000s. Free jazz from François Tusques. François Tusques, legend of French jazz, with François Jeannot on saxophone, Bernard Vité on trumpet, Michel Portal on bass clarinet, Charles Saudret on percs, Bengt Berger on double bass, and François Tusques on piano. This is a testimony on how you should never be afraid to talk to strangers in the street. Since I got this from a lady I met in Paris who told me she had a few records at home and this was in it. She got it when she arrived in Paris in '65, I believe, also. As a young artist from Denmark, and probably a cute one, yeah, definitely a cute one, since the guys gave her the record and signed it to her. Bengt Berger, Michel Portal, François Tusques, Bernard Vité, who I had the privilege of knowing. I know a little bit of the other guys as well, but Bernard Vité, he was such a babar. He was one and only. This is a cornerstone of European jazz, in my opinion. Free jazz, even more challenging than Ornette Coleman's landmark album, Free Jazz, from '63, I believe. This is so much more wild and funny in so many ways, and it also features the cream of French jazz, which is also partly featured here on Michel Portal's Our Meanings and Our Feelings, with Joachim Kuhn, Jenny Clark, Aldo Romano, and the great Jack Tolo also on drums. It's got an Eastern feel, North African as well. It's a really wild free jazz from '69, I believe, 68, 69, something like that. And well, it's also a cornerstone of European jazz that has been underlooked, in my opinion, by Americans. Maybe because it's not easily found, but the music is amazing. It's really one of the best free jazz records I've ever heard, and I've heard quite a few thousands. Here's something gentler. Someone who also played many times with Michel Portal. Eddie Louis, who brought some color to French jazz. This is an amazing record as well, much more on the spiritual jazz side of things. There's a take on Colchin, French folklore song, which is legendary. There's also a very early cover of Cantaloupe from Herbie Hancock, and this will please everyone, in my opinion. More French stuff, but also from Switzerland. Awful cover, but this is not really an album. This is a library soundtrack, which is music for stage and screen. Apocalypse, Biorism, fiction scenes, descriptive, futuristic. Well, this is actually Jean-Charles Capon on cello and effects, electronics, and Daniel Humair on drums, perks, and I believe also effects, because it really sounds like a Moog drum. Very keen boost ditmas, in my opinion, but basically it sounds like a mixture of Eastern spiritual jazz gone PCP, and it sounds like Square Pusher is programming drums, but it's live, and it's Daniel Humair, and I got only love for him because of this record and other stuff he did, of course, but this is insane and really to be discovered. Going further east, Christophe Komeda, one of his early records, Ballet Etude, the music of Komeda on the metronome. I discovered Komeda as a child through the soundtrack of Rosemary's Baby. Yeah, maybe not a child. Anyways, too young, but this was one of my favorite music ever, and this is much more gentle, but as challenging as anything. This is modern jazz, and it gives a good challenge to any of the best modern jazz records from the US from the same time. This is from the 60s as well. I don't see any date, but this is amazing. Going further east, but also west of Poland, H.Yamamoto with Colin Berger. H.Yamamoto's trio, which is him and Yoshio Ikeda and Takeshi Watanabe. H.Yamamoto, legendary flute player, wooden flute player for jazz, and Colin Berger, in my opinion, the best vibe player with Ken Jamal and Bobby Hutcherson. This is free jazz, modern jazz, contemporary jazz, soul jazz, a little bit on the funky side at times, but mostly still challenging. A really good album on GVC Records in Japan. Still called Berger, and my only kind of break to the rule, since this is called Berger, Dave Moufang, the techno guy from Germany, and Ruit, which is basically Gunther Kraus on guitar, the jazz guitarist. But it also features one of my heroes, Jamie Hodge from Canada, I believe, or America, Northern America. If he is Canadian, then I'm in within the rules. Jamie Hodge, who I discovered through his early EPs on Plus 8, Plastic Man's techno label from Vancouver. He did this EP called Analog Digital Hell, or Heaven, Analog Heaven, I believe. Amazing techno, which is almost ambient, melodic, barely any drums. And he's kind of low-key. He does under the radar. He pops up everywhere then and then. And there's 3 albums of this project, conjoint, which is amazing. This is the first album. Kif or Source, I'm not sure. Anyways, it's from the late 90s. It's the kind of future jazz that is the only reason why future jazz should be a thing. It's tense, suspenseful, a little bit dark, very edgy, beautiful, spiritual jazz, and yeah, electronics. Still Germany, but towards the UK now, through Germany, MPS, legendary label, which is Albert Mangelsdorf and Joki Freund, with a folk duo, which is Colin, Wilkie and Shirley Hart. This is amazing. This is free jazz and folk. It's like free jazz going hippie. It's beautiful. It's the kind of free jazz you would play to someone who is highly suspicious of free jazz. This is noise, I don't want this near my ears. Wild Goose. Great record. Everyone should take a listen, give it a listen if you don't know this. More of the UK. Worlds Within Words from Basil Kirchin with Jake Nathan, whom he worked with on several library soundtracks records. This features Ivan Parker, uncredited, and also I believe, I suspect you might catch some Dirk Bailey in this. This sounds nothing like Dirk Bailey, apart from the fact that it kind of could. It's sound collage, free jazz, improv, ambient, world, jungle. This is insane. This is the original. I specify that because I believe reissue came a couple of years ago. I think with a different cover. This is the gold animated artwork, which I love. I suspect this costed quite some cash back then. This came out on Columbia, and I go back to this all the time. Further north we go to Sweden, and since we couldn't feature ECM and one of my favorite records, Bitterroot Funeral from Bengt Berger. Here is Bengt Berger with a bunch of other Swedish maestros like Christer Botén, Nicke Ström, Kjell Wessling, Spjärn Svalet, which is spiritual jazz, eastern jazz, modern jazz. This came out on MNW Musik Nätet Vaxholm, which is a great label for avant-garde, experimental, punk, folk, and this is a really underrated, under the radar record that I think should get more exposition. And we finish off with another Swedish record, Ivan the Terrible, Ivan Oscarsson and Consortes. Swedish free jazz on Dragon, which is a label that released quite a few prog rock, but also some jazz, some modern classical avant-garde, if I remember correctly. This is amazing. This is wild, completely under the radar, not that common even in Sweden, and it's beautiful free jazz. What can I tell? And there you go. I wanted to include a record from Turkey, from Oketemis, with Safet Gundegan on clarinet, but I couldn't find it. This is not chaos, but back there, behind the camera, it's a little bit chaos right now. So this will be maybe for an upcoming video if I get the bug. And I hope you enjoyed that, and that the selection wasn't too tedious or too snobby. That's it for today. I hope you all are alright, and I'll see you either on your own videos or in the comments. Bye.